Okay, we're at Care Funeral Services in Colwood. Now, I've had a number of interviews with Bill Buckley here talking about, well, demystifying the funeral situation. Death and taxes, both inevitable, as people always say. Taxes are probably more expensive now, I guess, than funerals, I suspect.
That's an interesting point. They definitely are.
That's right. But yeah, I know running through your head are all the different taxes we pay these days. Yeah. Where are we exactly here?
Well, this is a visitation room or a very small service room. Yep. So you could have a very small service here. We use this primarily as a visitation room. We will have families come in and view here.
Now, is it common to have an open casket? For a visitation, I guess you would, wouldn't you?
You do for a visitation. How common it is, I probably end up doing 1 or 2 a month, maybe, something like that. And I'm doing like about 400 calls, dealing with 400 families a year. So it's not a very high proportion, but it's certainly something that, people do want.
Over the past few weeks, we've talked about all the different services you offer and innumerable different specifics. But as a job, as a career for what you do, it must be a very difficult job because you're dealing with people at the lowest point, perhaps, in their life.
An interesting way to put that.
It's not a joyous occasion, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people say to me over the years, I don't know how you can do the job you do. And my immediate response is, and I've been in the industry for 40 years. Over that time, the dead have never hurt me. It's always people like you. Not that you've hurt me, but it's people like you.
Not today at all. So the situation is dealing with people's feelings. I guess every single person who comes in is looking for something different, have different requirements or different needs or desires.
Yeah, absolutely. We're all different. There's only one Gordie Tupper out there.
That's right. Well, you see, I want to be cremated and have something simple happen, but I can't imagine anybody having anything more elaborate than that for me. I certainly wouldn't. But some people, they want to be immortalized, if you will.
Yeah, we're all different. But I would hope that you would have a conversation with your family and allow them to express their feelings. I'd like to think that your family and your wife, your kids, they've got feelings, and just cremating you and throwing your ashes away may not just look after their feelings as well as it could be.
Well, that's a very good point, because I know most families, and mine included, they don't want to sit down and talk about something like that. I mean, they really, really don't want to do that.
Yeah, well, sometimes you have to drag them kicking and screaming. But one of the ways you can do it is just say, you know what, I've come to the realization my days are numbered and I'm going to go one day, and this is what I'm thinking I'm going to arrange. If you've got any input, now's the time to do it.
Well, I know you have a website that we've talked about that has all kinds of prices and information, and it's very comprehensive for sure. But can people come in and consult with you?
Absolutely, yeah. There's no charge to do that.
Yeah.
And we'll even go to their homes if getting out to see us is an issue.
And I gather perhaps better to do this before the need arises than after?
Well, it's prudent to do it before.
I mean, for the family, obviously.
Exactly.
Who knows if you're the individual?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It's certainly easier and better for those that you're leaving behind to know what your wishes were and to have something in place.
Okay, well, we're going to go to a commercial break now, but when we come back, I want to talk about something, again, that's sort of awkward to talk about, but embalming.
Oh, yes, okay.
Okay, we'll do that in a bit.
Sure.
Welcome back to the show at Care Funeral Services in Colwood, and I know, Bill, that people are going to be uncomfortable just seeing us in the casket room here, and all of the things over the past few weeks we've talked about, I suspect, even though it's a very important and normal thing to have to deal with, people don't like it. They just get freaked out by all this.
Well, like I've said before, this is about people's feelings, and and if you're seeing me, you've got feelings, and you've got feelings about the deceased, and nobody likes those feelings.
We were in the viewing room a couple of minutes ago, and the topic of embalming came up. Now, I'm not even sure I want to know what that is, but it's something you have an option whether you do this or not?
Yes, I seldom embalm. I have a lot of open caskets, and I seldom embalm. I embalm when it's mandatory. For example, if we were shipping you to Australia, then we'd have to embalm you. But
If I can't afford to go live, I don't want to go deceased.
yeah, well, actually, we just brought a lady back from Australia, so yeah,
So that would be something that would be mandatory if travel is involved.
absolutely, yes.
Okay. Some of the options in, I was going to say coffins, but these in fact aren't coffins, they're caskets.
Yes.
There's quite a few. This one sort of intrigues me. It looks very simple, but well, it's almost IKEA-ish, I guess.
Well, you know what? 150 odd years ago, that casket was about as good as it could possibly get. And that's a pine casket. You'll notice that it has doweling in the handles all around, so there's no metal in it, which means it's one of those green options. I've carried that for decades.
That is very green, in fact, having no metal involved in it whatsoever.
Exactly, yeah. And it's a cotton interior.
Now, I'm intrigued by this one behind us here. Now, this actually looks more like what a coffin, I suppose, would be.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, this is wicker. And what we would end up doing is we would shroud the individual, the deceased, with this. And it's a cotton shroud, and then the individual would be placed in this.
Now, would this be legal burial? I mean, are there certain rules?
Absolutely legal burial. Royal Oak Burial Park, for example, has a green burial site, and they're the only cemetery that does, although we've done green burials out at Suit before. A green burial would mean that you couldn't embalm. The embalming that we had talked about previously in the last section, I'm not a proponent of embalming. I wouldn't really want to see somebody I loved embalmed, and so I have a hard time selling it to people. I'd probably arrange embalming, I'm going to guess, maybe 2 or 3 times a year.
And if somebody's cheap, like me, it's
Frugal, Gordie.
Frugal, whatever. It saves
You're
you.
Scottish, you're frugal.
That's right. It saves you a certain amount of money as well at that particular time by not doing that.
Well, embalming is going to add about $450 to $500 normally to the bill.
Okay. Check out Bill's website because it has the prices for that and any number of other things on there. And again, or come in and talk to Bill, which I have found very fascinating, and thank you very much for this. You can demystify the whole funeral situation for people.
Well, it's my pleasure. I've enjoyed our time together.
Okay, well, I can't wait to get out of here. Nothing personal.
No, I won't take it personally.
Care Funeral Services in Colwood. Thanks, Bill.
Thanks, Gordie.